couple of jiu-jitsu black belts battle it out. Coming up this weekend, Senor Perfecto out of, it's the oddliest named city in the United States. King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Bill Algeo, he's going to be taking on downtown TJ Brown. And Matt, I'm going to lose the whole audience right here, but I want you to listen up. I'm about full transparency. I have a terrible time picking these guys' fights. And I went back and I looked at my
volatile fighters.
I looked at my record picking these guys. So Bill Algeo in the UFC is 3-3. And I'm 3-3 in picking his fights. I had Lamas to beat him. That happened. I had Carlisle to beat him. That didn't happen. I had Algeo in his next fight. I had Brito, Algeo. And then for TJ Brown, Matt, I picked TJ Brown in 5 of his 6 UFC fights. I didn't pick him to beat Eric Silva. And in that, I'm 2-4, so I'm terrible at picking these guys' fights because I'll tell you why. I know what their styles are, and I went back and I watched their fights, and by and large, I think I had a good synergy to it. But picking them in other matchups, that's what screws me up. Bill Algeo is a good long-range striker. He's good at his grappling, but Bill Algeo, kind of like Brandon Royval, got to take me down so I can work that jiu-jitsu. Algeo is good offensive wrestling. He doesn't have great takedown defense, but he's one of those guys that doesn't necessarily worry about the threat of the takedown because of how good he is in the scrambles and how good his jiu-jitsu is. Whereas, for TJ Brown, good offensive wrestling. Kid's got a motor, and it'll carry him far. Does he get rocked in his fights? Yeah, he does. Does he have really heavy hands when he throws his combinations?
He does.
Sure, it's more single shot than combination. So when it does come down to this one, Matt, it's a volatile fight to make a pick on, and I have a poor job making picks on this. We both do.
I have to say one thing,
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with what you said about Bill Algeo with his jiu-jitsu, where when he does get into scrambles off of his opponent's takedowns, he can be really good. When you hold him flat on his back, though, you can hold him down for quite a while, and that's something. That is something about TJ Brown's game. I don't know why that was so difficult to say. That I do think will have a lot of success with, because, like you said, do both guys have that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in their back pocket? Yes, they do. But Algeo's lack of wrestling, I think, in this matchup specifically, is going to really test him, because TJ Brown will not give up on the takedown attempt until you either submit him or knock him out, because he's going for a lot of these. And he does struggle with some of his defense, especially from the outside. But even while you were saying with Bill Algeo, I'm like, yeah, he is good at striking from the long distance. He's not great up close, though. Like, Algeo's great with those front kicks up the middle. He has really good straight shots, too. But he hasn't necessarily refined that Brian Ortega part of his game yet, to where he's using the knees, using the elbows, and really being able to use all of his Muay Thai to damage his opponent when they get into the clinch, because it is a very obvious game plan for a lot of guys to do. They see a long, tall striker who has good power from the outside and can get taken down. What are you going to do? Get close to him, try to use your boxing and take him down? TJ Brown's one of those guys who that's basically his game plan in every single fight.
Yeah, Brown comes into the UFC, fights Jordan Griffin, looks great to start, and then continues to go for long takedown attempts and gets caught in a submission out of one of those. Then
Jordan Griffin was tricky.
Then he takes on Danny Chavez, and in that fight, Chavez with the leg kicks, with the striking, that was really the story of it. The fight against Kai Kamaka III could have gone either way. The fight against Charles Rossi looked good. Against Shailan Nurdambeka, there were moments. TJ Brown got clipped in that one. And then against Eric Silva looked all right in the first round, but then after that, TJ Brown was able to just pull away the old-timey wrestling, just arm triangle submission that he was able to get, and Silva just ran off a cliff as it went on. But Bill Algeo, as you say, from Ricardo Lamas to some of the other fights, Spike Carlisle looked great with the similar stylistic game plan to TJ Brown in the first round, burned too hot, burned himself out. The fight against Hamosh, Hamosh took Bill Algeo down and was able to just continually go for takedowns. Herbert Burns got tired.
Did he ever?
The fight that he had against Joanderson Brito, he got tired after the first round. And then against Andre Feely.
Did Gilbert call his mom after that fight? She was like, "How'd it go, honey?" Herbert got tired, and then he just hung up and put it down.
Well, you better tell Herbert to grow out his hair, because I guess that's your X factor. But Matt, when it does come down to this one, again, I went back and I watched these fights. TJ Brown in the UFC has had no less than 2 takedowns in every single fight. He's got that motor. He trains with a high level of training partner. But part and parcel, I know their games. Going back and watching them, Bill Algeo outside of the UFC, who are his losses? Dean Lavin in his second pro fight, Shane Burgos, Jared Gordon, and then Brendan Loughnane on Contender Series, where he struggled with the takedown. So Algeo struggled against guys that take him down. TJ Brown takes down a lot of guys but gets caught in submissions and struggles with long range striking. My mind's eye, these two guys are even. The odds are pretty darn close. Bill Algeo is a slight favorite. We look at the Topology votes, Matt. Surprised they are to you. I'm going to say over under 60% Bill Algeo. What do you say?
I'll say over.
You're gonna say over? It's way over.
I didn't think it'd be that high, though.
1,018 total votes, 85% Bill Algeo. I want to know what they know. On the 15% that have TJ Brown, 74% by decision. Is this the one where I go way off the board, or do I stay in line with everybody else?
I think this fight's gonna go one of two ways. Either Bill Algeo is gonna rock TJ Brown on the outside early in the fight. Like, I mean early first half, first round, and finish him that way. Or TJ Brown's going to put on the wrestling shoes and go back to the well over and over and over and over again until there is nothing left in that well. Like, Bill Algeo does have good jiu-jitsu, but he can be held flat on his back in that kind of full guard shutdown position.
TJ Brown for 5'9", going up against 6 feet. TJ Brown's weight cut never looks good on Friday.
Good point, but I just think Bill Algeo is going to have to waste a lot of energy if he wants to get back up to his feet in this fight. That's my big thing about this fight. Algeo doesn't have the ability to just, okay, boom, you're off of me, Derek Lewis, just stand up. I think it's going to cost him a lot of energy to get back up to his feet. We have seen the power bar does go down with Bill Algeo. Like, the pop is on the shots earlier on in the fight, but they do get much more labored as the fight continues, and for those reasons, I'm going to go with the slight underdog in TJ Brown. Again, could he get clipped at any point? Yes, I think he could. I just think the wrestling is at least a base that I can rely on throughout this fight, and that's why I like Brown.
And Matt, we've been pretty darn high on Bill Algeo throughout these. I know as a guy who just said I picked TJ Brown in 5 of 6 of his UFC fights where he's gone 3-3, that's not the best, but Shailan was able to clip him early in their fight. Kai Kamaka was able to clip him and drop him. It's happened. I like TJ Brown in the matchup for his wrestling, but if he gets dropped and finished by Bill Algeo, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, and this is the months where people just
take an L every now and then. It doesn't have to be a ha-ha. Just like, yeah, I'm wrong. We're wrong all the time. Just admit it.
All right, Matt, we're wrong all the time. Fight Night Pick sucks. Both of us.
No. Just like we do predictions. We're gonna get the right. We're gonna get the wrong. You can't just be like, oh, everybody thinks we're dumb. We get the wrong. It happens.
Help us out in the comments section. Let us know who you have some big fights left on this card, Matt, including the next one. Hardcores rejoice. Clay Guida taking on Rafa Garcia. You're not gonna want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks. We always say.
Let's get into it.